Oftentimes, people are not very interested in an analysis that seems realistic or not emotionally stimulating. Last week, 1 week ago, I released this video, and in this video, we discussed the MACD analysis. And the analysis that I provided was, I guess you could say, not emotionally stimulating, kind of boring, but it turned out to be a perfect prediction on what we just saw Bitcoin do. Let's play the clip. Now, there are times where you get a consolidation with appears like positive momentum is returning, and then it comes down again, a little bit of a fake out, and then you get your breakout later. So it's possible that Bitcoin's MACD could come up, come down again, get us our breakout later. A little bit of sideways action is always likely. Like I said in that video, sideways action is always likely. Today is April 3rd, Wednesday, middle of the week, and Bitcoin is playing out the exact scenario of the MACD coming up towards the neutral zone and then coming down once again to give us that sideways action. Bitcoin is still in a position of higher lows. It looks like we are getting support, and it also looks like the stock market is getting a bounce today off of the key trend line for the S&P 500 here. So this is all going along as we've expected. And now the next thing in line is the RSI. And this is going to be our indicator for the next major move. Because if you look at the RSI and you look at all the past price action, the daily RSI downtrend line breakouts are very, very good indicators. It usually indicates the next major push to the upside. And now for Bitcoin, we are playing this out once again, just like the ETF approval when we had the Sell the News event. Once we broke the RSI downtrend line, that's when we got new highs in price. Bitcoin's daily RSI is once again sitting in another downtrend. And whenever we got these in the past, that usually indicated the next push to new highs. And so we could be pretty close to this happening. What's nice about this indicator is that last time, for example, when we broke the RSI downtrend line, it didn't happen when we hit new highs. Because if you mark up the resistance, the horizontal resistance, it shows you that when we actually broke that resistance, it was after this signal. So it can sometimes be a leading indicator. So Bitcoin's price may be looking to find support where we are, another higher low. And before we even break out of this pattern, the RSI will be giving us a leading indicator. Bitcoin's price would break above the RSI resistance, most likely before we break out of our pattern, previous resistance as new support, and then look to break out of this pattern after that. So we may get a leading signal like this once again, where we break the resistance after breaking the RSI downtrend line. And that is what I'm looking for now, a break of the RSI downtrend line, followed by a breakout to new highs. And what is interesting about this pattern is that the Bitcoin halving is going to be coming in right at the end of this consolidation pattern, this pennant formation that we are in. The halving is going to be happening around April 19th or 20th, which would be about the end of the pattern, which means that we could actually be breaking out up to new highs during the halving, which would be overall very bullish. Because if we're breaking out during the halving, it's going to be all over the news, and it's going to incite a lot of upside pressure, a lot of demand, a lot of bullish price action. And as we've discussed in the previous videos, looking at the Kraken Pro chart, we have a trapped liquidity short squeeze setup as well. If your 20 EMA is up above a 45-degree angle and you have a rejection wick within a trending market, if you break above that wick high, it translates to a 1 to 1.5, which lands us at 87,400. Very similar to the last major trap liquidity short squeeze target that we called out before it happened. Here, we had the EMA up at a 45-degree angle, large rejection wick inside of a trending market. That translates to a 1 to 1.5. And if you line that up, that got us a target back in February, and that's where you would want to take profit for that setup. So just because I'm saying that 87,400 is the target of this setup, it doesn't mean that it is the top target. That's just where you would take profits based on this setup. That's how you trade the setup. So basically what I'm saying is my minimum target on this next breakout is 87,400 trap liquidity short squeeze target. 87,400 minimum. And then we would have the Fibonacci target above that coming in just below 95,000, about 94,945. And then if you go by the textbook, if you are a regular viewer of this channel, you should know by now that this parabolic trend target is 90,000. After you hit base 3, the price doubles according to the textbook. Base 3 was about 45,000 in my opinion, and that gives you 90,000 as your target. So we have multiple targets now. 87,400, 90,000, and just below 95,000. So roughly this zone, this is your target zone for the next major move up. And according to the textbook, that is your sell point, your actual top of the parabolic trend. Don't get mad at me. This is just the textbook is saying that this would be our temporary top, not the end of the cycle, the temporary top where you would then get a consolidation of some kind. And that consolidation could end up being something that is very short-lived, more so just sideways from here before going up again. Or it could be a 2017 bull market style correction where you go down 40%, go into the low 50,000 range before getting a huge bounce and running again later. I do expect some type of major washout or swing zone before we recover after hitting the textbook sell point, right? So I don't think that we're just going to get away with having this whole parabola play out, hitting the sell point, and then not doing it, and then just continuing to go vertical. I don't think that's going to happen. I think now, as we enter this vertical point, that's where you're going to get major swings, major consolidations before your next leg up. Into the second half of this year, I do think we're going to continue the bull market. I do think that we're going to hit much higher levels. The halving hasn't even happened yet, and we're testing new all-time highs. So we are doing really well in this cycle, and I think we're going to go much higher for Bitcoin in the long term. But for now, I'm just going to be following the textbook setup and expecting a large consolidation after hitting something like anywhere from 87,400 to as high as 95,000. And this is the analysis that we've been providing here on this channel for almost a year now, and it's all played out. So if you guys like getting an analysis that actually plays out, that we give realistic ideas like the MACD on the daily going sideways, and it actually played out, and following the textbooks to guide us through these trends to be as accurate as possible. If that's what you guys want to follow, then follow this channel, subscribe, hit the like button. And if you guys want to get random hype analysis, well, you can go to other channels for that. On this channel, we're going to stick to the book, and we're going to be following this trend very closely. So definitely smash the like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.